Hello, guys. This is Psychedelic Porn Crumpets today that I'm interviewing. This is Lukas from WKDU. And how are you guys doing today?
Good, thank you. Thank you very much for having us on the show.
Great, thanks.
So I wanted to ask, visiting America, how many times have you previously visited America? And if there's anything that pops up to mind when you think about it that you really enjoy?
You smoke weed pretty much anywhere here. Like I suppose that's new though, isn't it? That one.
Was it the fifth time you've been here?
Yeah.
Fifth time, I think?
Fifth time.
It gets better every time. More people.
Shows have been amazing. Yesterday
music.
was unreal. Like in New York, playing... Like the buildings are so old. Obviously, we're from Australia, so everything's like 20 years old. But, what was it called? Webster Hall. That's like iconic. We did that. If you get to a place where it's actually got a balcony so people can stand at the top, we're like, all right, we've made it. There you go. Yeah, it was good.
Is there anything you miss when you're traveling abroad from Australia?
Me?
My wife.
Yeah, my wife. Pretty much. That's a big one. I miss recording. I miss doing that. And I miss playing golf. Can't really work on my handicap here, but...
Is there anything about the weather here that you think is a little bit jarring in comparison to Australia?
It's freezing
It
at
does
the moment.
change quickly.
It was
I feel
hot
like
earlier.
it was hot, yeah, and now it's cold. As soon as we obviously came up north,
Yeah,
it's a lot colder.
It was 90 degrees, I think, earlier this week, and then it was downpouring yesterday.
Yeah, that was so strange. But we haven't had to do a load in or a load out. I just jinxed it in the rain, but yeah. That's bound to happen. Yeah, that's it.
So I wanted to ask, do you guys have any funny stories about the censorship involving your name or anything like that? I feel like there's plenty of opportunities for something along those lines.
It's definitely a hard one to Google. Yeah, but I don't know.
I think the censorship happens more than we know.
Yeah.
We're oblivious to it.
We'd be filling stadiums if we didn't have the band name we did.
To think that anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
It's healthy.
I was just wondering also, like, if you had to choose another name, do you have, like, anything off the top of your head that you would maybe rename the band to if you had a choice?
Just porn. Yeah, we'll go all in.
Just go all...
Yeah, that's
just,
it.
there's corn, and then there's
That's
porn.
it. We'll just cut the corners off. Just go straight with the meat.
Sandwich with the crust cut off.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go, just like Mother liked.
Yeah.
So I noticed that you guys have a lot of claymation music videos. I was just wondering, how long in the pipeline do you usually have to prepare those for when the album comes out? Because it's obviously not an easy process.
Yeah. Oh man, Ollie's on them pretty
Ollie,
much
yeah.
a couple of months beforehand.
He also doesn't sleep.
He doesn't actually.
He just does claymation 24/7.
I've messaged him at weird times and he's always responded, and it might be like 4 a.m. Birmingham time. But then he's like, I gotta wake up and feed the dog or something. Like, I swear that dog just eats like all times of the day. But he does work, man, a lot. So how long is it? 20 frames takes about a day, I think. So for how long? What's that? Well, it wouldn't be actually. More than that. A couple of seconds a day. So 3 or 4 months, I think it usually takes about now with the editing as well. And so yeah, I think if we want to do a few albums, like it's going to take 10 years to do the whole 12 tracks.
The last one was very much like an homage to like The Thing and Alien,
Yeah.
the last music video. I was just wondering how much creative input did you guys have on that?
Well, it's sort of, I suppose Ollie kind of runs through what he wants to do, and I mean, he's that good. It's almost hard to try and stop him from doing what he wants, because I'm like, it's way more fun to work on a project that you are in control of rather than someone else is sort of
He has
dictating.
a strong vision and kind of a story. He always wants to tell kind of a
And he knows
story.
every single B horror movie that's ever been. Like, so you're like, yeah, just run with it. And I think he throws in a couple of bits and pieces from, I don't know, little, what do you call them? Cookies? Are they called cookies?
Cookies.
Well, yeah, they're called cookies. But when there's like little artifacts that you're like, oh, that's a nice one.
Oh, yes, I do know what you're talking about. Like little artifacts in the video itself.
Yeah. They're called something.
Oh, Easter eggs.
Easter eggs, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both delicious.
Speaking about influences and films, I was just wondering, is there any films or TV shows that you really think comes to mind when you're thinking about your band and creating music? Is there anything specific that you're like, whoa, this really helped inspire or shape this record or this song?
Yeah, I mean, definitely starting out, you always watch a couple movies, and then, like, I remember watching Finding Wes Anderson, sort of the same time I was doing music. I was like, when you watch someone that's good, it makes you think you can do a movie, and then you realise it's really hard. You're like, fuck, I think that's always good. So maybe not so much like a singular movie or a singular moment, but it's usually just like that kind of like feeling you get afterwards, and you sort of like makes you feel creative. Like now I suppose it's more like Denis Villeneuve when you watch that, or with a Hans Zimmer score, and you just like, I want to ride a worm, like
just the bass.
Yeah, dude. And then you just start, the next album's gonna start off with that's it.
Someone's gonna come in on the sandworm with hooks on
through the speakers, just straight through the ears.
I was just curious, have you guys ever thought about when discussing your albums, I know that there's some concept album stuff involved with that. How often do you guys put concept album ideas into actual records or into actual tracks?
Man, more like, I wish we did more, but I think it usually is just life. I don't know, I suppose. If you call us a concept, I might be a concept, you're a concept.
I feel like the idea of the concept record is always strong in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it falls apart. And then it becomes something else.
Yeah.
And then at the end, if you can package it well enough, it becomes a concept again.
I can never remember. I think that's always the thing. I'm always working on the next one that I forget about the last one. But whatchamacallit had like a strong theme of like an old circusy kind of vibe, like from the 40s or 50s, like post-war England era.
It's kind of like trying to glue it back together at the end.
Yeah.
Make it work really well as one piece.
But yeah, and I think Shiger kind of had that lo-fi sound where it was like, there's, I suppose not so much the concept, but like the way that it leave songs on that didn't work for it, like maybe more that way. But a storyline, it's not so much as a Coheed album or a who's the other Australian band that does it? Parkway Drive. Like they always have a concept, don't they? Of like kraken sea-bearing creatures.
I know, like Coheed has like multiple comics just like spanning their albums.
Their lore is
strong lore. Yeah.
I've heard it compared to like Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, whoa, that's.
That's a big
Yeah, we haven't done that.
So obviously psychedelics play a huge part in your music. I'm just curious if you guys could like time travel back to the first time where you tried psychedelics. Is there any advice that you would give to yourself? Yeah. Like anything to either like be like, hey, put on this record, or hey, try this out.
Don't do it.
Yeah. Don't sell your guitar. Go get a normal job. Yeah. I have no idea what I'd say. I think it's all worked out quite well, to be fair.
We made
like,
it. Not everyone made it.
We're the lucky ones that, we're not in a psych ward, and sort of, I suppose, that little bit of crazy that you got from it has pushed you into a nice way.
I remember being terrified the first time I did it.
Yeah.
But I'd probably tell myself to chill the fuck out. But then, I got better at it.
It's weird, because whatever's led to this point, you almost don't want to change.
Yeah.
So you sort of, I don't know, if we had a time travel machine, I'd throw it away. I want to know what to do. What would you do?
Battle in it.
I don't know. I've never tried psychedelics, honestly.
True. Don't do it then. Maybe you've already had the time travel, and then you just stopped yourself doing it.
Well, I mean, if you stop yourself, then wouldn't the version that came back erase immediately? Therefore, it would just not exist.
Yeah.
Therefore, you would still be doing psychedelics, and no matter what, the universe itself is forcing you to do psychedelics.
Maybe. It's kind of like Ron, that Chuck Palahniuk book where he stacks his family. Because if he's alive, he goes back, kills his grandparents, and then they couldn't have conceived him, so therefore he becomes like a Time Lord. Because he can't die because he's alive. I don't know. Time
travel is such a weird thing in films.
Don't get into it. You brought it up.
I did. That is fair. So I was wondering if you... I was gonna ask, could you guys describe your albums in like one sentence? I'm gonna list off your albums, and I just want you guys to give me like just one sentence, like off the top of your head. So High Visceral, what's your one sentence to describe that record, including part 1 and part 2?
Us giving it a crack and not really knowing what we were doing, but optimism kind of paid off in that. A hot pursuit of optimism.
Full home recording process.
We were mere children, but eager to impress.
Cheap equipment, cheap setups, but songs were good. Yeah. Is it? Wait, you said one word, didn't you?
No,
one sentence.
That was like a paragraph.
That's good. That was good. Okay.
2 words. Shoot money.
And now for whatchamacallit, what would be your one sentence for that?
Probably the exact same thing, but then we realised that was more of like a pursuit for like pop richness. We're really influenced by, I suppose, what was happening on the radio and how to sort of chase festivals. And that kind of felt like a way where I would never go there again, if that makes sense. I like the songs and I play them, but I think like that was almost a tipping point where we could have gone really into it and gone this full like, I know the way Temples kind of went in Pond. Do you know how they sort of went a bit poppier, brighter? But then I think we sort of like were like, nah, the songs that worked. We could have been a Keen for Kick-Ons band, but we just became a Him for a Droid band. I think that was like if you could go in that parallel way. So we went the OC's path rather than the Pond way.
I get exactly what you're saying. It's like Radiohead going Kid A instead of OK Computer, like deeper into that route.
That's it,
just
exactly.
like completely diving away.
Yeah, I'm glad we did though. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to sleep properly if we were a pop band. But we are a pop band. I don't know. Are we?
I wouldn't really say a pop band.
I think it's towing the line.
It is.
In a good way.
It's right on that fence.
You never want to go too far.
No, that's it.
Now, what about Shiga, the Sunlight Mound? Also, do I have to scream that every time I like talk about the album? I have to exclaim it every time.
Shiga is so the time was, I suppose that was like lockdown, wasn't it? The first sort of.
It was my favorite record from you guys.
I generally think there's some of our best songs on that record, but the way it sort of got recorded and maybe produced as well. I know Jelly's like who mixed the record is sort of. We worked so much on it that I think a lot of it got left behind when it came to mastering, and we never really listened to it because we just were so exhausted of what it was, and then it just got overly compressed, and I think the vocals are being sung through the same amp which the bass is coming out of, which the same lead guitar is coming out of, so you've just got this kind of like throughout the album.
It's a crunchiness.
Yeah, but I think if you clean that up, there's some like Tripolasaur and like the whole first part of the album is really like it's there, and then it kind of finishes on that same buzz. I think it's on. For me, it's the most continuously like period piece of like the same kind of tunes. If you know what I mean, like it doesn't really change as much as Fronzoli or Night Gnomes or High Visceral.
For me, it was your first record that I fully listened to like in one sitting, where I was like, "Whoa, this actually flows very well."
I'm glad. Thank you.
What about Night Yo? Gnomes.
Yeah.
Changing it to Night.
Yeah, Night Yo. Yeah, I like that. I think Night Gnomes was darker. Hey, that was like a bit of a. Apart from Love That Piss Car, I was like, oh, that's a tune. And then the start, me and Rich were firing. Am I supposed to be doing one sentence here? Is this?
It's fine.
Like a full paragraph. Alright, you do a sentence for Night Gnomes.
A dark cinematic experience.
Okay.
Filled with gnomes. Yeah.
I remember one of the most viscerally haunting moments from my childhood was watching Goosebumps and watching the episode where the gnomes wake up at night and start chasing after the kids.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be fucked with, are they?
And if you get bitten, you become a gnome.
Do you?
Yeah, that was like the ending was like...
zombie?
Well, you get trapped as a gnome. The neighbor gets bitten and then she's like stuck as a gnome and then the kids like break her.
That is bad, yes.
It's really fucked up.
Not keen for that.
And so what about Fronzoli, latest record? What would you guys say about that?
Fronzoli, I reckon, is the most like my best produced record. I think it's like it's there. It's still got like from when I finished it, I was like, that's so good. And then I think after listening to it for 3 months or whatever it's been, 6 months, a year, I'm like, I've got so much. There's so much to evolve on, songwriting wise. But the production, I think we nailed on a lot of the songs. But there's so much to sort of like evolve into. I don't know, sort of every album you work out what you're doing wrong. And it's slowly getting to the point where I think there's more right now than there's wrong. So Franzoli is that sort of test record of where we kind of are, I suppose. Like, I think we're getting the guitar sound pretty schmick, the drums sound good, the bass is sitting on top, the vocals don't need to be 9 layers of it anymore, you can kind of do one, so it's sounding like a better release, I think.
Is there any crazy instruments you think you want to add on your future records?
Oh man, like all of them. I mean, I'd love to learn how to play everything. I want to kind of sit down and actually like bang out a piano piece for ages. I have one, and then I started playing it, and now it's in a garage because it didn't fit in my house. So that was sad. But you play piano pretty well. Rich plays drums. You do everything. But then I suppose you get to the point where it's like, I got a sitar and I was playing it, I want to put that on everything, but then you're like, I don't know, can you put sitar on everything?
You almost like need to like do it the normal way and then add little flourishes.
Yeah.
Just bits to keep it interesting throughout the whole record.
Yeah.
It's like a cherry on top of the end.
Yeah, just a sprinkle. I think that's it.
Because it's still always going to be kind of guitar music. It's like that's the
I think that's what we got to remember what we are.
Instrument.
Long-haired yahoos from Perth who learnt to play guitar. Just do that. Keep doing that.
Is there any specific fun childhood stories you guys have from living in Perth in comparison to like being in the U.S. or traveling around the world?
I can't remember much of it.
I mean, went over when I was 13, and I just remember like feeling like I was on holiday the whole time. Like coming from England, where it was like my memories are like good, but there was lots of sport. I was involved in like cricket and football, and like that's what everyone was into. Whereas when you go to Australia, it was like surfing or skating and music. So I think it felt way more creative, and I think especially growing up, if everyone wanted to move over to Melbourne if they thought they had an inkling of something good, and I was like, why don't you stay here? Like, there's hubs for it, and I think the people that did stay actually worked out better in the end. Like the bands that didn't go to Melbourne made it. It's weird. So
Okay.
it's actually true though.
Makes sense. The Perth psychedelic scene has been crazy in recent years.
Yeah, it's especially Tame. We were just saw Pond the other day down at Shaky Knees Festival. It's weird to even sort of feel like we're in that same scene as them, because I think we obviously just wanted to start a band because we're fans, and now I suppose you're just a couple of rungs underneath and looking at like obviously where they are. Like it's amazing. I don't know. It's sick. It's cool to even be having an interview in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Have you guys visited anything or done anything while you've been in Philly? Or, well, obviously, you guys have been busy, so.
Yeah, we did just get here.
Got here, sound check.
But we managed to see the Liberty Bell last time we were here. And I want to see that because of Always Sunny, so I was like, and we had a little walk round. There was like a cocktail bar there was like Halloween, and there was a giant skeleton out the front. They're doing like Halloween cocktails. Where was that?
I've seen it before. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and then it was also, I think, the Philly baseball team was playing, so we want to get tickets, but when we had a gig, that's always happens. You know what I mean? It's like I think you're always like, oh my god, yeah. So
Running on the clock.
yeah.
It's either the Eagles or the Phillies playing.
Yeah, and you're just running off of coffee, so that's it. Keep the fumes going.
So I want to do a quick word association where you guys just say the first word that comes to mind when I say the specific word. So I'll start. Australia.
Music.
Hate.
Rock.
Australia. Uluru.
Roll.
Led Zeppelin.
My granddad went to school with Jimmy Page, actually.
Oh,
there you go. That's a
wow.
good one. Yeah, he lived in Epsom.
Hindenburg.
Hindenburg. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Stop.
I see though where the connection is.
Yeah.
I literally see it. Monty Python.
Oh, amazing. Future.
Yeah. John.
John.
Johnson. John. Jonathan.
And Perth.
Quiet.
It's beautiful. I think that's like the Shire. Yeah.
That's sick. So I have a final question. If you guys had to choose one song from your catalog for someone to have a trip to,
It's just Misanthrope. Put that one on, because it's like 3 minutes when you can have a little Earl Grey. And then the ending should be on like a zombie movie, so
there you go.
there you go. But don't take anything.
You heard it here first. Psychedelic Porn
Yeah.
Crumpets doesn't condone psychedelics.
No.
You're on your own journey.
Yeah. Make it
Do what you
count.
want.
Make it count.
Well, thank you guys for this interview.
Thank you, Lucas.
Hopefully you guys enjoy Philadelphia and have an awesome show.
Cheers, man. Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
And
you too.
yourself.
Thanks so much.